brother! Jay... Good start. Jay, earlier this week you went over our top 10 things to look for in the upcoming Rogue One movie. So today we're going to dive a little deeper into one of those things and try to determine if it's possible that Jyn Erso could be Rey's mother. Ever since The Force Awakens came out, I have been fascinated with Rey, and no, not just because I have a monster crush on Daisy Ridley. Mostly because I have a monster crush on Rey, and I would be totally okay with it if you guys just all wanted to tweet this at her. Right, so the biggest question by far that we took away from The Force Awakens is, who are Rey's parents? Because I have a question for her father. But really, after the movie came out, we could only truly speculate about her father due to the complete lack of women in the galaxy. So we were already guessing the mother was going to have to be a newly introduced character. Then Star Wars drops the trailer for Rogue One, and what do we get other than a brand new, totally awesome lead female character in the form of Jyn Erso, who just so happens to look just like Rey. And I have to say, I would be totally happy with her as an in-law. So I know this idea may be kind of low-hanging fruit. Like, maybe they're introducing Jyn just so we think this exact thought. But there actually is a lot going for it and a lot going against it. So today we are just going to discuss all of the possibilities. From a storytelling perspective, this is basically what we already know about Rogue One. It takes place immediately before Episode 4, A New Hope, and tells us the story of how the rebels came to obtain the Death Star plans. Now, because we've seen Episode 4, we know the rebels will be successful in stealing these plans. We also know that none of the core members of the team that steal those plans are anywhere else in the Star Wars universe as it exists right now, suggesting they will all most likely die. Because otherwise, why have we not heard from them again? Darth Vader, on the other hand, definitely will not die. Now, I know this may all kind of sound redundant, but that's actually why I bring it up. Don't get me wrong, I love that we are getting more Star Wars, and I know that this isn't an official episode, but I have to believe that we will learn something in this movie that is relevant to the greater story. And I would think more specifically to the new movies, which brings us back to Jyn and Rey. Here are the basic surface level similarities. 1, they look the same. 2, they both have about the same accent. And 3, both are rebels. By which I mean they are rebellious by nature, not that they are fighting in a rebellion, although they are both fighting in a rebellion. What is it about rebel girls? Am I right? We know Jyn has committed crimes against the Empire.
Forgery of Imperial documents, possession of stolen property, aggravated assault.
So she is okay with breaking the law. And that Rey is enamored with Han Solo, but not because of his war efforts, but because of his career as a smuggler. I could smuggle things. This is mine now. You have a small head. Both were abandoned by their parents as children. Jyn, because her father was recruited by the Empire due to his extensive knowledge of kyber crystals. And Rey, well, we don't actually know. The point is, since Jyn was left on a planet because her parent was called away, maybe she uses this same rationale later in life with her child. Those are the basics, but is it even possible? Does the timing line up? Okay, so again, Rogue One takes place immediately before A New Hope and the Battle of Yavin, and in Star Wars, this is year 0. Anything before this is BBY, before the Battle of Yavin, and anything after is ABY, after the Battle of Yavin. Jyn was born 21 BBY, so in the movie, she's 21. Rey was born in 15 ABY. So 15 years after the events of Rogue One, which would make Jyn 36 when she had Rey, which is totally plausible. So yes, the timing lines up at least reasonably enough for the theory to remain in play. But within an entire galaxy, do these basic similarities narrow it down enough to where we can start assuming that Jyn could be Rey's mother? Well, there is one more detail that we found that could support this claim, and that is the lightsaber calling to Rey. Everyone assumes this has got something to do with her connection to Luke, Anakin or Obi-Wan, the previous owners of the saber. But what if it called to her because it had something to do with her grandfather? Now, we don't know an enormous amount about kyber crystals other than that they are used to power lightsabers, the Death Star's weapon, and that it is the focus of interest of Jyn's father, Jyn Erso. The lightsaber in question was built during the Clone Wars as a replacement for Anakin's first lightsaber. Now, typically Jedi construct their own lightsabers, but it is very possible that Jyn's father could have had something to do with the kyber crystal inside of it. So that's everything going for this idea, but there are some things going against Jyn being Rey's mother. For example, she is not a Force user and Rey totally is. Not that that is a total deal breaker or anything, as her father could have easily been a Force user, or like Anakin, some people believe she was conceived by the Force. But assuming it was a living male Force user, the father is almost definitely Luke, who I would also not mind as an in-law. Which would be totally fine, except Jyn isn't in episodes 4, 5, and 6, and it would be kind of hard to believe that two people so important to the rebellion wouldn't have crossed paths until after the war is over. Unless, of course, they met beforehand. Maybe they used to bullseye womp rats together.
I used to bullseye womp rats in my T-16 back home.
Which brings us back to our biggest problem. Jyn most likely, probably, definitely dies. And here's the worst part. Even if Jyn survives, and this all turns out to be true, they are still not going to tell us in this movie. Rey's parents are the biggest mystery in Star Wars right now, and they are not going to reveal them in a non-episode movie. If anything, I honestly bet they just cloud the water even more, leave Jyn's survival completely ambiguous. Some type of imminent explosion and the possibility of her maybe getting to the escape pod in just a countdown of time between the explosion and the release of the pod, and then roll credits. Did she make it? Oh, I love Star Wars so much. Almost as much as Daisy Ridley, which is almost as much as I love Rey. Guys, for my question of the day, do you think I have a shot with Daisy Ridley?
Ben!
Sorry. Do you think Jyn could be Rey's mother? Leave your thoughts in the towel section down below. And just a couple of quick updates. We did get a new P.O. box, so if you would ever like to send us something in the mail, you can check that down below. Also, guys, the SCB Giveathon continues over on Instagram, so if you don't follow us already, be sure to come and check it out. We're giving away lots of really cool stuff. And finally, guys, thanks for watching this video. As always, be sure to like it and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you'd like to see more Star Wars action from us, you can click right here to see who might be Rey's father, or right here for the top 10 things to look for in Rogue One. But Jay, that is everything that I've got for you today, man. I will see you on Tuesday.